So I want to talk about my stepfather, Dwight G, and the kind of abuse I went through at the hands of a human trafficker. Well, not only did he abuse me, he abused my mother, Melissa G. He broke her finger one time. He kept her completely isolated the past few months of her life and left her alone in her house by herself, sick and dying. She fell on the floor alone there. I'll tell you some of the things I went through. So, he had me bored from my mother's in his house where they lived about 6 months before she died, preemptively, I would say. And I didn't have anywhere to go. I was prescribed Suboxone through my doctor, so I went to a detox. When I got a detox, I didn't have a halfway house to go to, so I came back. He had moved. The 2 weeks I was there, he moved, had all my stuff moved out of my room and put in the barn, where it still is, I presume. He poisoned my animals and left them dead in the cages for me to bond. He opened the windows so the stink wouldn't fill up the house. He used to keep a gun in the living room, a pistol, and if he did something, which he was always doing something, his MO was to start a confrontation and then make it my fault. But if I said anything back, he would get the pistol out and point it at me in front of my mom. He pointed it at my mom before. I kept telling everybody this was going on. Nobody wanted to believe it. He was friends with the cops, so the one time I did call the cops, they said it wasn't domestic abuse because we weren't married, or domestic violence because we weren't married. So when I came back and found my animals dead in their cages, and he poured bleach in my fish tanks, the fish were just floating there. I said something about it on Facebook, and he started this. He called my aunt. For some reason, him and my aunt were real tight. And then my aunt and my dad and my stepdad all coordinated. And my dad came and got me and took me to my grandmother's house, which was being, for my grandmother's estate, which was being run by my aunt. And I went up to Tennessee. I was up there for a month or so by myself. When I came back, I had a raccoon. He wasn't able to kill the raccoon. He tried to kill the raccoon. When I came back, the raccoon hadn't had water or food in I don't know how long, and was practically dying in its cage. And I gave it water then. The raccoon ended up living. I had another dog there that was killed. Somebody hit it in the head with something. This is the stuff I went through with Dwight G.